Welcome to Marketing Buzz with Daniel Coburn, where we spotlight exceptional business leaders making an impact in their community and helping businesses grow. Today, we'll be talking to Justin Oberman from Genius Scouts. Genius Scouts help business professionals build their personal brands online. Thank you so much for joining us, Justin. Before we jump
Thank
into
you.
our discussion, can you give a brief background of yourself and your experience, and what inspired you to create Genius Scout?
Sure. Try to keep this as brief as I can. My life has been an adventure, my in terms of my career, but I started as an insurance salesman in my family business. Um, Realized I liked the marketing part of it, went into advertising and went into like the big brand advertising, worked for, big agencies doing all of that sort of big brand advertising, TV commercials, print. I entered right at the tail end of the Mad Men era before the Facebook and digital became a thing. So I got a lot of that education. Then when Facebook and digital became more important, I jumped in also into direct marketing and performance marketing. So I'm one of these very few advertising copywriters, marketing copywriters that can kind of do both. I can do big brand advertising and I can also do direct response stuff. Long story short, in 2020, I was working at an ad agency and COVID happened, and both the accounts I were working on stopped advertising. And so I was let go. And my wife told me that I needed to. I either needed to create my own agency or go find something else to do. So I created my own ad agency, and because it was COVID and you couldn't network, I just started posting on LinkedIn every day. And I got pretty much like 90% of my business that way. And a friend of mine, who's now my business partner at Genius Scouts, told me, he's like, what you're doing is really amazing. You should help people do that. And I'm like, nah, that's not what I do. I'm an ad guy. I make ad campaigns. Like, I always viewed the people who kind of help people become better at LinkedIn, like bottom of the barrel type stuff. Long story short, by building my personal brand and stuff on LinkedIn and beyond, I eventually got my agency to seven figures, but then kind of really burnt out real bad because I'm an ad creative. I have no business running a business, and couldn't really find a partner to help me. And so I ended up closing the agency, just for my own mental health. And while I was trying to figure out what to do, I read an article that said LinkedIn ghostwriters are making $700 an hour. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't start a web page or do anything. All I did was at the bottom of my post saying, hey, you like reading my post? Want me to do the same for you? If you run an agency of any type, I'm offering coach writing and ghostwriting services to a select few of executives. Transparent about the pricing, and I got 1, 2, 3 people to sign up. 2 of those clients are actually still clients to this day, and started building that up. And I bumped into my friend who told me to do this before, and started working in an office, same shared workspace he was. And eventually my client list just ran out of control. So I walked over to him and I said, hey, this is your fault. You told me to do this. Now it's becoming kind of too successful and I need help. So we joined together and we formed, he also closed his business. He was in the direct marketing for SaaS companies space. And we said, hey, let's combine our efforts, because I think that personal branding could also use paid. It's not just about organic. And so we formed Genius Scouts that way, which is, the name is a throwback to Howard Gossage and what his consultancy generalist, and how they would do genius scouting. And their first client was Marshall McLuhan, and they turned him into like a kind of worldwide celebrity. So that's the inspiration for the
Nice.
name. Yeah.
Nice. That dovetails into that covered some of the other things we're going to talk about. So that's really actually useful and insightful. Oh no, it's okay. The part of this is so we can like really understand. And so with that being said, who is the ideal client for your services?
So the ideal client, it's a really, really, really good question, because I actually don't believe that everybody needs to build a personal brand. I'm not one of those people. I think that you have to sort of have a character to begin with. You have to have something going for you already, and it's basically a skill or something that we then take and refine. Because the only way to sort of build a personal brand or to find your personal brand or do any of that is to actually do it, right? The only
Right.
is to use it, right? And so we look for people like that right now in any field, but really our specialty is working with um, people in advertising marketing agencies or anything that's kind of like that. If they're in sales or they're helping, one of our clients was one of the top people that helps airline pilots find jobs and stuff. Um, um, but executives, especially executives in creative spaces like music and entertainment. But even we have some lawyers and we have some finance people as well. It's just that they're not your typical ones. They have sort of a creative,
Right.
crazy spirit, right?
Right.
And also celebrities, artists, musicians, um, and intellectuals that want to become entrepreneurs and establish themselves in the business world.
That's great. So real brief and just a short little bit. When somebody engages with you, how is that engagement and like just short form? Like, what is it the process of you vetting them and starting real quick?
Yeah, so we vet them. We get on a call. We can tell right away whether or not we can work with you or not, just by the way you talk, the history, the things that you talk about, stuff like that. We're not in the business of building, of making, of turning you into something if that you're not. That there are other people who can do that really well. Not that we can't. It's too expensive and not worth our time. But basically, the way that it works is really depends on the packages. So our celebrity package really covers everything. We stylists, constant idea generation, constant things to do, public relations. We'll manage your podcast. We'll do outreach for your podcast. We'll do ghostwriting for LinkedIn and and speeches. And I mean, it really runs the gamut. And then, the different packages move down from there, all the way down
Awesome.
to, sometimes we're just ghostwriting on LinkedIn. And basically, just
Right.
to give you a sum up, the way that it works is I meet with them every day. They have constant access to me. We talk, and I take the things going on in their heads and turn it into content distributed through multiple channels.
Awesome. Awesome. And thank you so much for joining us today. But before we wrap up, how do
Yeah.
people get a hold of you and Genius Scouts to look at your services?
So the two best ways of doing it is you can go to geniusscouts.com and fill out the form, and that way Aaron will get in touch with you. But you can always feel free to just also find me on LinkedIn, find me or my partner Aaron Aaron Zukowski on LinkedIn. But my name is Justin Oberman, and if you Google me, they'll only find three, but you'll recognize me right away. And you can also DM me there.
Awesome. Hey, thank you again for joining us. And thanks everybody for tuning in to Marketing Buzz with Daniel Coburn. And we appreciate
Thank you so
Genius
much
Scout
for
joining
having
us
me.
today. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.